intellectual property, what role does that play in your business in terms of do you register your works, or have you had people steal crap, or like what kind of, do you have any, how do you approach the concept of intellectual property in your business?
This is one of those things that is not, it is not a huge focus of mine.
Yeah.
I found early on that if I focused on the people that could reverse engineer, or the people that would rip things off, or, kind of the whole negative side of things, if I focused on, let's just call them the cheaters. Okay. If I focused on that, then I would have a very negative focus.
Yeah.
And I would be focusing on the lack, on the people not willing to buy in, not willing to support me, and not being kind. And ultimately I had to make a decision. It's like going back to, what do we want to focus on? And I wanted to focus on making more stuff, not on protecting and kind of clenching in my fist the things that I had made. And when I see this happen, and it happens, unfortunately, pretty often in the professional quilting world, something will happen and somebody will post something that wasn't theirs, and everybody will get really upset and get angry about their stuff getting stolen. And what I see is a whole lot of negative behavior, a lot of chewing each other out, and a lot of just getting really upset. And then everyone stops making stuff.
Yeah.
Everyone gets angry and everyone stops. And I think that is the exact opposite of what we should be doing. I will do a survey at the end of my quilt-alongs and just say, what did you think? How did you like the posting of videos? What are your thoughts? And I always kind of leave an open space for people to leave their answers. And I don't read those surveys. I get my dad or my father-in-law or Josh to go through them, because I don't want to read all of the people that will answer, I didn't pay for it, I didn't buy it, I reverse engineered it. And people will actually write that into the survey.
Why do that? That's so rude.
Yeah.
It's mean.
So I don't read that.
Yeah.
I refuse to read that and take that into my heart, because I want to focus on the people that are buying and that are willing to support us and help us, keep this going, because it's not cheap. And it's not possible to do it without Josh or my dad. Yeah. And I could not do it all alone. And it's like, we're not making millions of dollars doing this either. It's kind of like month by month, I'm looking at, okay, are we making expenses? Are we making enough to keep going? And so long as we are, we're going to keep this going. And there were some times, when things get tough, then I'm like, I got to hustle, I've got to, put my feet down and really bust tail to hustle and get this nicely set up. So that way we don't have a situation where, we're basically writing checks we can't cash.
Yeah.
And I always keep that bottom line in mind. But I am always wanting to focus on those people that are willing and ready to support us and buy our next product, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I think that's a better thing to do. I think, and as far as copyright, I put a copyright notice on my stuff. I have not bothered to send it in to actually get it copyrighted. Maybe I need to learn more about that side of things, but I see that as some forms to fill out and a day or two lost focusing on something that's kind of negative, and maybe that's silly on my side, but, I just don't want to spend my time being miserly. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I hear you. Well, good news is it is copied automatically when you create it, and the notice is good because that makes people willful infringers. And then registering it at the Copyright Office, if you do have problems or you ever wanted to do that, it's pretty simple. So, but it sounds like it's not really part of the business model and hasn't been something you've had to do, at least not yet. So I think that, that tells you a lot about sort of your whole business is built on creative works and videos and copyrighted works, and yet that's not really the focus of what you need to focus on is keeping people from infringing your copyright, which is super interesting. Now, the last question I have for you is about brand. I think the other side, my other theory is that brand, while you're in a copyrighted world, it's really the trademark and the brand and you. and your phrases and who you are that really matters. That's the driving the business is the brand.
Sure. And yes, and I want to do more with this in the coming years, where I kind of feel like my business kind of has two different identities. We've got the free motion quilting angle and all of our quilt-alongs and kind of sort of the more traditional quilts and teachings. And then I've got this kind of other side, which is my goddess quilts and the more emotional side and how I quilt to overcome personal issues and that kind of thing. And so I'm wanting to bring these two more together. And I think that I can do that with, branding and with more writing and with more products. Like I want to write a book on the goddesses. I want to come out with a calendar with them, maybe, some different things like that would better brand that, kind of both of those sides together within our business in a better way. But yes, I completely agree. I mean, things like how I start my videos, I say, hello, my quilting friends. That's right. And that makes me smile, number one, and it makes me feel good. And then that became the name of my podcast. And then at the end of my videos, I say, let's go quilts, because I want people to get off the video and go quilt. I want them to feel, really jazzed up to go get on their machine and actually go do it. So those things have become my trademarks. And I think that it is very powerful. As far as, anything that you share online, my general opinion is, if you have something that's unique, that's all yours, that you invented, and it's 100%, your thing. Well, you can clench that in a fist, or you could put it in a box, and it's like your thing that you stash away and keep in the dark all by yourself. But please don't think that no one will ever think of that too, because we all have the same access to materials and tools and glue and thread and all of these things. So, somebody else can come up with the exact same technique, the exact same idea. That is absolutely valid, and they can do that. So the way I look at it is that there's more power in sharing. There is more power in teaching with an open heart. And do not expect people to come back and say, I learned this from so-and-so, even for me, that rarely happens. I mean, I love it when it does happen. And somebody says, I learned this from Leah Day. I love that. It's great, but I don't expect it. That's why I continue to put out videos. That's why I continue to do quilt-alongs, because I need to be my own cheering squad and continue to model the business and the lifestyle that I want to have. And that's my mentality. Don't keep it in a box. Share your creativity openly and with an open heart. And that's really what will come back and make your business work. It'll make it bloom, and it'll ultimately make you a happier person too.
I think that's totally, I like your philosophy so much. And again, you sort of see who is being successful in this world at this moment and who isn't. And the model has changed so much. But I think, you've really got it right of sort of for our era and for who we are, that you've just really figured it all out. It's really cool. So I have thousands more questions, but why don't we stop here? Maybe you'll be willing to come on again and chat some more as we go on our project and we learn things and see if you agree with what we're learning and chat some again. I have my quilting army, which is my quilting army is, well, it started out as my neighbor that I met, and then others, and then I keep just gathering people, and now it's some people you probably know, and so it's just people that we go back to chat with, because I think it is about community and it's about learning. So I really didn't want to. So I would love to have you again sometime, and I really, really, really appreciate your time today, because I find what you're doing amazing and fascinating, and you're super cool.
Thank you. Yes, I would love to come back. This is so much fun.
Awesome. All right, cool. Well, hold on. Don't hang up. I'm going to stop the recording. So this is Elizabeth Townsend Guard. You've been listening to Just Wanna Quilt, a research podcast coming out of Tulane University Law School. We want to hear from you. Join our army, our quilting army. Go to our Facebook page. Suggest people to be interviewed. Suggest yourself to be interviewed. We are excited to hear from you. But most importantly, I hope you get a chance to quilt today.